Okay, welcome back to the Atmospheric Cafe for either part 2, or if you haven't seen the first one, then what I call it, the Divine Union of You, I think. So, in the first one, I got these 4 cards, and then I shoveled a little more to see if there was more information, and instead they gave me a second reading. So, we covered in the last reading the Divine Union of You. I would 100% go back and look at that. It's about getting to know yourself and receiving that gift of abundance in the understanding and knowing of yourself. And as I covered in that one, yes, I know you may be sitting there going, oh, I know myself. Sure, okay. But those of us who have been through this, when people say this, what we say is, oh yeah, I remember that time. That was a interesting point of time. And then you get out of that time. You change and you grow and you learn that happiness within yourself. And when you have that happiness, oh, that sounded nice. When you have that happiness within yourself, that allows for the next divine partner to come in. Okay, because you have to find the divine partner within yourself before you can find the correct divine partner outside of yourself. Up until that point, all we find are the lessons that we need to learn and grow away from. And by doing that, what we're doing every time is that we're choosing that, you know what, this relationship wasn't what I wanted. I don't want to be treated like this, that, the other thing. And by doing that, you learn about yourself. And some of that, pardon me, is also making a list to clarify what you do want in a partner. And that's everything. What you do want, what you don't want, what you find is acceptable. Oh my goodness, I'm terribly burping. And often what ends up happening is afterwards you either throw the paper away, and do it on paper, not on your phone. It's a physical write down thing. It's always better to do it that way. You throw it outside into the world, or you throw it in the garbage, burn it, whatever you want to do with it. And then you'll find, maybe every 5-10 years, whatever, you'll reformat that until you find the right person. And actually, what's even better, I'm being told, is after a breakup, not immediately, but like once you've reintroduced yourself to yourself, it's good to rewrite that, because going through any relationship, bad or good, reformats your idea of what you want in a relationship. If you entered a relationship and then that relationship ended either on bad terms, mutual terms, or maybe it just wasn't there, you've learned something, and you've learned something new that you want in a relationship, and that's important. And whom do we have? Let's jump it down. I had a Yuki playing earlier. And doing that allows your divine counterpart to come in. Now, what I found the most interesting when I was shuffling earlier is that we have the Queen of Wands. The King of Wands came out to double her. And then we have the Two of Cups, which is the stage at the end of the Lovers, and there's the Lovers. And then we have the Ace of Coins. Now we have the Ace of Swords. We have the Knight of Coin, which is the fruits of your labor and reward. And we have the Six of Cups, which is familiarity and helping hands and love, really. When I look at this person giving somebody, it looks like an older man giving an older woman who is shorter flowers, And all of this is incoming. And the interesting part is the eight of wands didn't bother my dyslexia. The Eight of Wands, it's I have dyslexia and dyscalculia, and it pings them both. So if you understand what I'm saying, you'll get what I'm saying when I say, for me, this position and this position of this card are the same position. So in my head, whatever position this needs to be, it's just going to always look the same to me, which is usually Eight of Wands upright. It always looks Eight of Wands upright, but in this case, it is Eight of Wands upright, which means that this is incoming. This is either somebody that you know or someone that is coming in. But whatever this is, whatever union this is for you, this is the divine union of the soul. You know, the first was the divine union of the soul of you or some such thing. I don't remember what I called it. The divine, oh, it's 10-11. 10-11. Oh, fuck my life. 10-11. I think it's called the divine union of you. Anyway, this is about the divine union of two instead of one. And for whomever resonates with this, this is I was asking a question and just doing a little because on some level this can be the completion of a divine union of the self, but that was with these four cards. And that's not what this is, because you're always learning and growing and changing. So there's no real, even on the other side, there is no real completion of the education of your soul for the self. That's not what this is about. This is a love reading. The first one was a love reading for the self. This is a love reading. This is a divine union. This is a union of two people. The Queen and King of Wands came out. And not only did they come out like this, this is incredible on its own. The divine union of love. Spirit just said the divine union of love. This is the story and the lesson of the divine union of love. Spirit says you have to start with two like-minded people. You know, you have the King and the Queen of Wands. The King and the Queen of Wands. Take each one how they resonate, how you feel towards each one. It doesn't matter. Just take it how it resonates for your situation. That's all we're doing. Whoever these two people are, these are people who they've been through it, they've discovered who they are, and they have now come to the table and they have met. These are people who refuse to be upside down because they understand what this is. And they don't like this. They're not people who want this behavior in this life. And what is this behavior? This behavior is manipulation, cheating, lying, narcissism, the worst of the worst. These are the people who you're learning not to be in a relationship with. These are the people who you're learning from so that you can learn to be by yourself, to grow into the divine union of two, of one, that is, not two, the grand divine union of one. I'm really glad I left that as a separate one. So once you do all of that, and your counterpart comes in, whether female, female, male, 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 female, non-binary, non-binary, whatever, I don't care. Two of his. I'm told a mirror. Now, by mirror, it doesn't mean that you're all going to like the same things. Nobody's ever going to like all of the same things, but you're going to find that you like similar things. And at some point, you're even going to sit there and go, oh my God, I forgot I like that. Holy shit, I really liked elephants growing up. I can't believe I forgot. But then you sit there and go, oh yeah, well, I still have a fond love for elephants, which I do. I still have a very fond love of elephants. I have an elephant. Her name is Suri. But that's this. These two people have come in. These two people are union. This is the union of the soul that comes together when you find that one. And when I say that one, I don't mean that fantastical, oh my goodness, the one that makes me never want to cheat again. No. If you're saying that, that means you have not found the divine union of you. Go back a reading kindly, because don't be with anybody. Nobody is going to make you want to be a better person. No one is going to make you not want to cheat. Nobody is going to make you want to settle down. What it is you find yourself. And then the other person that has found themselves, they come along to you. And that's when you start, walking side by side. And you just walk. And you talk. And you realize, oh, wow, that was your childhood. Well, that wasn't my childhood, but I had a friend that had a childhood like that. You find out this, that, and the other thing that you can associate with. And as you're walking and you're growing and the years go by, you are on this path. And this path is called the Lovers. You see the path there? Get over the naked. Get over the nakedity. It's a picture. I'm not covering it up. Get over it. I swear to God, you're on a tarot channel, and if you're gonna complain about naked stuff, please kindly get over it. Naked, okay? Just you're already on a tarot channel. For the love of God, you just can't be that overly sensitive. Anyway, who the hell was that? That was someone. Anywho. But as I'm saying, I'm just saying, like, so, oh, good Lord. Oh, hello, Spirit. Oh, my goodness. So, and yes, my voice just goes here and there, and I have spirits that just talk through me, and so they just use their own voice, and just, yeah, it is what it is. So, as I was saying, where we all got so rudely interrupted, but seriously, for the love of God, you're on a tarot channel. You're gonna clutch your pearls that much over not even well-formed naked bodies, for the love of God. Grow. But then isn't that what this reading is about? Growing, because when you grow, these images don't mean anything anymore. It becomes the symbolization of what they are. And what is this? This is your guide. This is your internal guide. This angel, okay? Because when you're separate, okay, so you see how each one of these people are in their own little white cube, okay? Those are your own little canisters. You fill those with love for yourself, love for yourself, good talking to yourself, good, not gaslighting yourself. You build yourself up. You build up your self-esteem, and not in a way where you're pretending and you're haughty, but where you're being honest with yourself and saying, you know what, yeah, that was a dumbass move, but we learned from it. And then when something else happens, going, no, you weren't dumb, they were dumb. It's having that beautiful understanding with yourself that, maybe other people never had in you, or even, if they did. As you grow older, there's this thing about growing older where you do, especially if you're neurodivergent, this is something I find, you do have to talk yourself through those feelings and emotions. And I think that's true of everybody. I think everybody has to do that just so that, you know that you're okay. So if you sit there in your head and you sit there and go, oh, you know what, and at the end of the day, I couldn't help that. There was nothing I could do. I did everything the way I was supposed to do, and this is what it is, and it really sucks, and these feelings and emotions suck. That is growth. That is explaining to yourself why you're not at fault for something, while taking responsibility for what is your fault for growing, and that fills this canister, okay? When you meet your other person who is healed, because to get to the point I'm talking about, we're talking about healed people. We're not talking about people who want to be pursued. We're not talking about people who want to be stalked. We're not talking about people who want to be love bombed and overly flowered. We're talking about people where if someone gets engaged, a small diamond chip from the Walmart is perfectly acceptable. Because it doesn't matter how big the ring is. It matters the person that you're marrying and the relationship and union that you're going to have. And I have always said that. And I know a thing or two about marriage. I know that if you are more concerned about your ring than your marriage, there's a problem. And it's okay to want a pretty ring. I'm not saying it's not okay. It is. But remember, that ring is something that he's looking at and thinking of you as, and he's picking it out, and he's got to take that time to look and go, oh my God, well, that's a lovely piece of purple jade, isn't that? Oh my goodness, purple jade on platinum, a little emerald on each side. Oh my goodness, isn't that pretty? I think she would love that. And if that's the ring you're given, love that ring, because he saw it and he thought of you. If all he had was a little bit of money and a chip from Walmart, if you love him, the size of the ring isn't going to matter. And these two people know this. These are the kind of people who, they don't need rings to get married. They just want a wedding band that's simple and gold. That's all that they need, because they took this time. Okay? These people started on the road of the lovers. And you see this angel? Yes, it's an angel, but it's also a relationship canister. And this relationship canister, because you've each got your own canister, right? But your relationship has a canister, and you have to put all of yourself, all of your canister into here. It doesn't mean that we don't individually grow and learn. We 100% do. You have to individually grow and learn in order for your relationship to continue to go down this road of the lovers. But as you're getting to know each other, as you're growing and blooming and realizing, and 3 months pass, and you're growing down the road, but you're getting a little bit more closer to the middle of the road, and 6 months pass, and a year passes, and there's a cute little anniversary, and then all of a sudden, year and a half, maybe between 18 months and 2 years, we're not talking about, are we going to move in together? These are very specific places on this road where we're growing and we're learning, because we already healed, and we're putting all of our healing and all of our new growth that we're getting into this new canister. And at some point, I'm listening to how they want me to say this. At some point, you're going to be on this road, and you're going to look up at this canister of this relationship, and you're going to go, my God, where the hell did I go in this? And, I equate relationships a lot to blue and red. You've got to mix them together and make purple in order to have this relationship. And, it's got to be, not always the right color purple, but the right color of purple where it works for both people. you know, and at some point you do look up and go, my God, like this is 4 years now, 3, 4, 5 years with someone. And you may feel like you're losing who this person is. And I'm listening to how they want me to say it. And in reality, what's actually happening is you're not really losing yourself. You're graduating. You're graduating from the Lovers to the Two of Cups. Okay? Because here we met each other. We went on a first date. Here we decided that we were going to continue to be talking to each other for a while. Here we confirmed that we have so much in common and so much that we don't, so much that we can share and grow together, that we would like to further this union and see where it goes. Now, at this point, it doesn't actually matter if you're married or not. With or without marriage, at this point, you just decided to be in a union, okay? So this can be whether you're married or not. It does not matter, because these are all going to happen whether you're married or not. Because at some point, you're going to look up at this canister and realize you lost yourself. But in reality, you didn't actually lose yourself. You looked up at the relationship canister and you realized your canister had turned into strength. And because of this strength, you have these two cups, okay? And you didn't lose yourself. Instead, what happened is what you lost was the road, okay? Because when you come off of this road into the Two of Cups, it really does feel like you lost something. It really does. And you did. You lost the road. But what this road is that option to break up and go to another relationship. It's your body. When you get to the Two of Cups, it's your body making this choice to be with this person. There's this feeling of, well, you know, we can know it. That goes away, and that's a very, very scary feeling. It's a very, very terrifying feeling. And it can make people do stupid shit like cheat. But you have to soldier through it. You have to take that sword in your hand. You gotta trudge through that swamp. Because the fortune you have that you could lose is great. I did not know it was turning into this divine lesson, just so we're all aware. But it does make sense with the other one. So, you've left here. And the feeling that you're having, if you're resonating with this, that feeling of, oh my God, I'm lost, da 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 da, I've lost myself. You still love everything you loved before this relationship. Now, if you really and truly don't love something, that might actually be because in the process of this relationship and talking to that other person, you grew and you changed, and stuff that they said, stuff that you read, stuff that other people said, stuff that you took in, you thought about it and you realized, ooh, you know, that's not so charming. I don't think I want to do that anymore. Yeah, I need to change that behavior about myself. And these are usually fairly big things. Like one of the things for me was with my second husband. He's like, why do you use identifiers? I didn't realize what I was doing until he explained it. And that's when I went, oh, yeah, that completely makes sense. You know, it's not the black man walked across the street, it's the man walked across the street. We don't need to know the color of the man unless it's the black man walked successfully past a police officer across the street. You see what I'm saying? Unless you have to identify that person, there's no reason to do that. So, these are things that as you're with your human, you grow and you change and you learn. I mean, you're never really off the road of the lovers. It's just the road of the lovers changes into a different form of union. And part of that form of union is your body, your brain adjusts to that realization that you have stopped the cycle of looking, which gives a bigger and more immense feeling of love on being told. And that's when, you see that foot behind right there. You start to go into the lovers. You start to bring your cup more forward, and they bring their cup more forward. And it's not that you didn't bring these cups forward before. It's just that how do I want to say it? That energetic field, it's not quite even an end, that whatever it is, over the body, over the brain, I'm sorry for those sounds, that leaves you and makes you realize, because like I said before, there's that realization of, oh my God, this is the person I'm going to be with. And it can be scary because that what's leaving is that realization that, oh yeah, we're not going to look for anybody. And that's a big, scary feeling. And when you get here, okay, when you realize where you are in that feeling and that it's, oh, I had, all of a sudden everything comes back to you. Because that feeling itself, when it starts to go away, it's like almost like it amps up and kind of makes you anxious. And you might not even know why you're anxious, but you've been with somebody, 5, 7 years, maybe even 4 years. And your brain is going, oh yeah, this is a union that I'm not leaving. And this is a union with somebody that they've worked on themselves, you've worked on yourselves, you keep working on each other, on yourselves, you keep growing as a unit, you keep walking down the road, but now you're going to the center of the road and you're stepping off into your own path. And your own path is not this path. This is like the highway you go down to get to where you need to go, but then you got to stop eventually. And you got to veer off onto this road. And this is your own personal road that you're making and walking down with this person. And as you walk down this road with this person, you're, making your own path. You're taking down the bushes, the trees, you're forming your house, you're gaining your strength. You're doing all of that stuff that you have to do. You're building your wealth, you're building your strength, and you're doing this together here. Okay. Or shall I say here? Or shall I say here? This is the combination of the two of you. And Spirit says this woman is like, when that point comes when you realize this is a, and there's never really a realization, it's more like a melding of energetic realizations until you're just wherever you are and the swell comes up. That's this. That's like Stevani, shall we say. This is your team unit. So you go from nakedly being on the road together, learning who the two of you are until you're clothed and exchanging cups and strength. And, you're pouring strength into his cup, he's pouring strength into your cup. And, if you don't have enough in your cup, he's putting some in your cup. And if, because, there's always going to be there's always going to be water someplace. Yeah, see, there's a river back there. You can always go run and fill that cup up. This cup is actually, you don't even have to fill this cup up because this cup fills up on its own. So when your partner is down, you can fill their cup up and still have your cup there in full. You know, that's one hand washes another. That's working as a team unit. And that's what this card represents here. Okay, this is you guys working as a team unit together separately. And this is you together. This is you together. These two bodies combined, and as I said, Stevani, if you get it, you know? And this team unit, they see everything. They even are able to see the bird that's right in front of them. They're able to see the little birdie to give them this to which to perch upon. That's Roxanne. I don't know why that just came out. But, you know, they plant their coins. They plant their fields. They talk about everything together. And you may sit there and go, oh, well, you can't talk about everything. But you do, believe it or not, in some odd way. Even if it's just a cursory speaking about it or text or whatever, you do. You know, and you always understand the things that you don't necessarily need to. There is a real understanding to that. And this unity brings awareness to their garden. You know, they always know what's in their cups. I'm also seeing the Seven of Cups in my mind, in my mind's eye, and that's a man in front of 7 cups. And there are many different things to choose, but because these guys are in union and they you know, this is 2 people as one, that person in front of the 7 of Cups who can choose from anything, that's also the same person here, and they know what to choose from those cups. They know what they need, and they choose these things together. And as I say, you might go, oh, well, you can't, but you can. You just have to want to. It has to be yeah, in order to do that at some point, it's like you both have to be able to see the same thing with the same clarity. So basically what it ends up being is you both have to have the enough light, whether it's light visually, light emotionally, light mature, not necessarily maturity wise. I'm referencing Steven Universe here. I'm not talking maturity wise. I'm talking about emotionally, because maturity, excuse me, because maturity comes in all forms. But what maturity really is I know how to pay my, you know, I know how to do the things I need to do and get them done. I may not do them perfectly. I may not pay my bills perfectly, but at the end of the day, they're paid. 33.44 on that timer. That's interesting. But yeah, at some point, you know, these 2 people, they end up on top of the wheel, and that's why they're able to discuss everything together, because they're able to see the clarity in the wheel, because they have enough sunshine visually, they have enough sunshine in growth, they have grown together. And when you grow together in that way, you grow to understand how the other one bends. Like if you look in the woods and you look at trees when they grow together and they grow around each other, they know how to grow around each other. They're not going to, you know, do something that's going to make the other person tip over purposefully, you know, yeah, maybe by accident, but not purposefully. And that's the point of a union that's good, is everything incoming is not done out of purposeful malice, out of everything incoming is done with kindness and love. Yeah. Okay, guys, we're going to end this here. Have a good night.